Greetings, all Shard Vixen here. Oh, and today is one of those, remember I told you about itching days? Well, I have these days where my skin burns, and it doesn't just burn on my face. My face just hurts, but it burns all over the place. Okay, today is July 2nd of 2017. This could be like time travel back or forward. And the topic for my vlog is pain. I had some other ideas for my topic this week, but pain has a lot to do with how my day is going to go or not go, or just overall. And some of the pain is what's called some of the pain is like really, really old pain. Like, hang on, got a burn going on. I just want to rub my whole head. Like, rub, 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 rub. But I thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about, because pain is subjective, objective, and kind of a collective of denials and grieving and other things. I mean, pain has a lot to do in our lives. It shapes who we are and how we perceive the world and how other people perceive us. By how tough we are to able to bite the bullet, per se, or if we're weak and give in to our pain. First, though, I have to tell you, for the next couple weeks, probably most of the vlogs will be posted on Sunday, not Saturday. I've just kind of decided overall that vlogging is on the weekend. So some days it'll be Saturday and some days it'll be Sunday. This is because of my daughter's work schedule and my son being gone. Bobby Joe is visiting his dad, so I don't have anyone here to help me with Boo Boy. A lot of times when I do my vlogging, it's really early morning here right now, and he's sleeping. So usually I'm either doing it really early in the morning like I'm doing now, or Bobby Joe plays with Boo Boy, you know, like they do something together. And so that takes up the time for me to get stuff done. And then whatever day my daughter has off now, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, that'll be the day I do most of the vlogging stuff. In case you're wondering, the opening animation, if there is any, I don't know if there will be by the time I'm filming this, probably has nothing to do with pain. It's just added. I have a little bit at the end of my song that was written for me. So I have to put stuff in there. So sometimes I just put like slide cards, and other times I put animation I'm working on. Alright, let's get to the pain part. So either I'm a real softie for pain, which it could be, or I have a high tolerance for pain. Though I've met people who have really high tolerance for pain. When my son was small, he literally... it took a lot to get him to even acknowledge that he had pain, which is kind of an interesting thing if you think about it. There's probably research out there, I don't know, or there could, maybe down the road, there'll be research on it, on how much of our pain is based on external things, like how people perceive us in pain rather than actual pain. Anyhow, so since I've been about 16 years old, I have had various pain issues. Before that, I had pain issues, which had to do with my teeth. I had what is now known as soft enamel for my baby teeth. My adult teeth were okay, you know, but not great. And so I had suffered from pains in my face for my teeth, and then I had surgery done because I had teeth growing out of the roof of my mouth. That's not where teeth belong unless you're a shark. And then, so they did the surgery, and I had false teeth put in some places. And that helped a lot for a while. My adult teeth lasted until I was about 35, and then I had to have dentures. So, I don't usually tell people that, but you know, hey, if we're talking about pain. So dentures can cause pain too, just so you know, but sometimes they don't. I mean, it just depends on the person. But due to anxiety issues, even though I'm a really strong person, it's hard to get the pain in my mouth taken care of. A lot of times I just ignore it. I have to do this, sorry. Okay, it's bothering me today. Alright, so talking about pain. I always bruised easy as a child. I don't really cry about pain. I cry because I'm frustrated. I cry because I'm sad, though that takes more than I'm frustrated. Or I cry because something is extremely funny in that very not funny way. But I do have an awful lot of pain. But like I said, at 16, I was doing track. I loved to run. It was one of my greatest coping skills was to run, because you could just run sometimes away from things that were bothering you. And also it was kind of my way into making friends, because I had a hard time making friends. I still sometimes have a hard time making friends. So I would run, and then you run with other people and things like that. It's kind of a interesting thing, because running is very solitary stuff. Anyway, so I was running in track, and my knees started to give out. And at first, they weren't painful when they did. They just stopped working, and I would fall flat on my face. And then my track coach told me to go to the doctor. The doctor diagnosed me with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and I was told not to run anymore. So that became kind of a depressing period of my time on top of my other depression, and then being a teenager. So that pain didn't go away. I couldn't take aspirin, which is what they, at that time, gave you for arthritic problems. And it was thought that it would go away as I became an adult. I have to tell you, it didn't. So my running stopped because the running aggravated it. Now, I know that was probably fibromyalgia starting out. And maybe the running was maybe I wasn't supposed to run because that gave me joy. So therefore, the fibromyalgia kicked in. I have this belief that fibromyalgia is kind of it's a real thing, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of a nerve thing that has, tries to keep you from doing things. That's just my belief. I have weird beliefs about things. I know the intellectual side of it. I could tell you exactly what happens in fibromyalgia now that I've been studying it, but even the doctors aren't really sure about it, and they don't know what to do about it. So I'm sure it existed before. Everything existed before. We just called it something different. We have different language now about pain. We have different language about mental illness. We have different language about things that we learned about. So you have to understand that when people say, oh, this never happened 50 years ago. Oh, it probably happened 50 years ago, but 50 years ago, if you had severe pain and you were below a certain economic status, you probably just died early. That's probably the truth of it. I mean, my grandfather died early because of his mental health issues, and he was alive until the 90s. But even then, people didn't understand, and I'm sure he suffered from fibromyalgia as well. It is, they do know it runs in families, so beware. Also on top of that, autoimmune deficiency runs in families, and sometimes people who have families, members who have autoimmune deficiency issues, have families that have fibromyalgia. So they're starting to think that those kind of chronic pain issues may, and there's a lot of people who are going to disagree with me, may be a side result from post-traumatic stress disorder. The research says that, but also if you just had mental illness issues. So a lot of things happen just because you have mental health issues. Anyway, so my pain graduated into my hips and my legs, and then it would disappear over periods of time, and it would be okay. I joined the military when I was 23. And then when I was trying to do push-ups, I started having problems with my shoulders. and then pain in my back and my neck. So they let me go because I was unfit for service because of injuries that they felt I acquired prior to coming into service and was missed in a physical. So pain has like disrupted my life quite a bit. It keeps me now from doing YouTube sometimes. It keeps me from working. It keeps me from, well, pain doesn't really keep me from working. Let me say that. I can work with pain. I was lucky enough for the last 20 years or so to have jobs where I could take time off when the pain was really bad so that no one knew. But I have gone to work where my ankles hurt so bad, and my ankles, my knees, and my hips were you see the little old lady who hobbles like this. That's how it felt, but I refused to give in to it, so I just walked. But here's what happens when you have a lot of pain. For me, and from other people I've talked to, is if you work with the pain, you sleep a lot because your body's trying to deal with the pain, and the only time it can is when you're sleeping. So what happens is you'd work 8-hour shift and then go home and sleep the rest of the time. Now, everybody say, oh, that's all right, but not really, because if you're doing it all the time, where's the rest of your life? And then they do know that the brain will suffer because there's no happiness involved. It's all get up, work, and go to sleep. And I had periods of time like that. I worked for Target for 3 months, and that's all I did for 3 months was work and go to bed. My daughter was about 7, 8 years old, and she would tuck me into bed and lay down with me. She'd help me make dinner. You know, I was bedridden. I'd work and I'd be bedridden, but I worked, and that was an important thing in society and to my relatives and everybody else. Was I worked. I didn't complain. I just worked. After I started working for as a sub in school districts and things like that, where I could work as needed and take time off as needed. I worked 3 jobs for 3 part-time jobs for probably about 5 years, because I arranged it so I was on call for all of them, so that I'd have one permanent part-time job and then pick up other work. Working's never been an issue in that aspect of that. When I worked, but there are long periods of time when I didn't work because of the pain and my mental health, because the pain aggravates the mental health and the mental health aggravates the pain. It's like you can't have one without the other, and a lot of people don't understand that. But a lot of people who work through their pain, who work while they're in pain, are depressed and don't know they're depressed. They don't, because people don't know what that means. They don't know. They're like, oh, I'm always that way. Well, there's something wrong, because you're always that way. You probably weren't born that way. You probably didn't experience life that way. But, you know, you could take tons and tons of medication. I don't take pain medication. I take medication for the fibromyalgia because the pain got so overwhelming that I wasn't doing anything. Nothing. I just lay in bed and stare at the wall because I couldn't figure out how to get up. And I've never been in that much pain. So that's the sad thing here, is with the fibromyalgia, which I did a vlog before if you're new to my vlog, so check out the earlier vlog on it. With the fibromyalgia, the pain became all-encompassing very quickly, and I was like, I don't know what's wrong here. I've had pain most of my life, but all of a sudden it's like everywhere, and I can't do anything. And that was when they diagnosed me with fibromyalgia, and it's like it's a downhill slide. And I don't know if it's just because it would have normally been a downhill slide or what, but I didn't go to the doctor originally for the pain because I always had it. I went because I couldn't use my shoulders, and I still can't, and they're very painful when I use them. The funny thing is I can do things with them. I'm not talking with my hands, but I could. Just talking with my hands can hurt my shoulders. I can talk with my hands, and it doesn't hurt while I'm talking with my hands, but like a minute after that, the pain, the throb starts to come in. Now, part of the problem is my posture, and so I work on that every day. It's just the thing about pain is it can be so overwhelming and isolating, Because if every day you're telling somebody, God, I don't feel good, I got pain in my legs, I got pain in my ankle, and my pain moves, so that's even worse. You know, I start to sound like a hypochondriac. I got pain in my mouth, I got headaches, my face hurts, my skin hurts, I burn all the time. People get tired of hearing that. So your support level of the people who support you slowly kind of dissipates because people can't do anything for you. And since pain is kind of also subjective, you know, that and objective, that people start going, well, you know, I get up every morning and I have a headache, and when they hear about pain, they start thinking about their own pain. So then you get a competition level going on about pain. Oh, my pain's worse than your pain. Oh, no. It's kind of like, I remember my grandfather teasing me all the time. He used to tell me I walked 5 miles uphill to school both ways. And so, yeah, that one's always funny to me. And so that's kind of how my pain is. I walk 5 miles uphill to school every day because it's a struggle. Some days are great. It's little pains. I can get through those little pains. Some days, oh no. Like this morning I woke up and I was going to go back to bed because I had this pain in my left leg that just, every time I stepped on it, it hurt so bad. It felt like this sharp, giant sliver of something, metal, going up into my hip. And I was like, wow, that's a new pain. I haven't had that one. And I was like, I don't want to get up. But I had to do my vlog, and I had to walk the dogs, and I have all these things I have to do. So one of the things I wanted to touch on was someone asked me the other day, well, why aren't you working? If you could do YouTube stuff, and you can do animation stuff, and you can take care of your grandson, why are you working? Because you have to weigh out this. So you have your work, and then you have your personal life. And normally there should be pretty even. Maybe one on this side or one on this side a little bit. But with pain, you have this, or you have this, or sometimes you have this, but you never have this. They're never even. So I've worked and struggled all this period of time, and now it's so overwhelming for me that it's like this is not even the picture anymore, because this is a struggle. It's a struggle to get up. And it's hard for me to do chores. The house will stay a mess for a while because I can't get my stuff done and my daughter works all the time. Or it'll be hard to do my animation and I just won't do it. Or in the case of the vlog, I'll push the vlog out because I have to sleep a lot or I have to do stuff. Playing video games is hard on me. It's hard to sit in my chair to do it. I have a special chair that I bought. It's hard to... sometimes manipulate. My hands hurt so bad that sometimes it's hard to push the buttons. It's hard to walk the dogs. It's hard to take a walk. I'm now forcing myself on a new walk schedule because with the medication I've been taking, I'm 100 pounds overweight. And that's not good because that'll kill me much faster than fibromyalgia will kill me. Anyway, so this one runs a little long. And I'm sorry. It's kind of a weird subject. There's so much more we could talk about it on it. Maybe we could someday have a discussion on it if you're curious. Most people rather shy away from the whole concept because they either don't believe you're in pain and they don't know what to say about it, or they believe you're in pain and don't know what to say about it, or they want to help you and they can't, so that frustrates them. There's a whole things that happen with your own pain. And it's hard to admit you're in pain. And when you do, it puts you in a state of grieving because you realize your life is changed. That's what happened to me when I was 16. Anyway, so I'll catch you all on the flip side, and I am out of here. Peace.